Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're playing a game I'm not very enthused about, but maybe it won't be as bad as we figure. But it's going to be yet another of the fighter jet games that we've seen on NES, little on Super NES, everything. And honestly, even to this day, I've not seen a good one. And being on Game Boy, I have zero hope, zero expectations. But we're going to try it anyways, see how it plays. Okay, so they give us all the options, but we don't actually have any. So with that being said, alright, so we have the speed altimeter with our positioning. Alright, so we just... Yeah, I mean... So we have... It doesn't look like we have missiles, we just have machine guns. Maybe we have to lock onto a target. It's to be expected. Okay, yeah. If we lock on a target, we do have missiles. I mean, it's exactly as you would expect on a Game Boy fighter jet game. Like, it's really not very good. It's not as bad as I expected. We've played worse. Planes just popping out of nowhere is definitely not the best thing. We had all these targets that we needed to go to, but yet we never even saw land at that point. I don't know. It's virtually what I expected. Granted, it was a little better than... Yeah, it is silly that, like, oh, we have all these levels that you can't go to. So, go back to that one. So, yeah, we have bunkers, airports, and chemical things, but yet we were over water. I would hope that it were over water at this point. Like... It doesn't seem like we're actually moving. Like, banking left and right doesn't seem like we're turning. It just feels like we're banking. Because we're not actually getting any closer to that one when we do it or anything. So I feel like... We're not actually, yeah, we're not really turning. We're just banking. I don't know. It's better than I expected to a point, but that doesn't really make it good. Everything kind of blends in. Again, it's a game that definitely does not belong on Game Boy at all. Like, having this as a black and white... This was already bad enough on NES, where we had 8 bits, decent enough processor, and color. To bring that onto a 3-inch black and white screen just would not do any justice to these kind of games at all. I mean, they're already on the verge of unplayable, and then having it in that situation, I feel like, is just not worth playing at all. I mean, we barely can make things out on a big screen with a better black and white than the actual Game Boy monitor was. And it's still not very well done. Still doesn't look very good. Everything is still a pretty decent blurb, other than the planes that just appear out of nowhere. Everything else is just kind of a blob on the screen that's slightly different variances of black and white. I mean, our machine gun fire is almost as big as the planes are. Like I said, we're not actually turning, we're just moving. Alright, so we just listen for the beep beep, and then... I'm looking to see if we actually have ammo, but I'm not seeing it. What hit it? I don't know. We tried, we gave it a couple of goes, even though, like, I honestly almost was about to just skip over the game, but I figured, no, we'll go ahead and give it a play anyways, and, like, you want to say it doesn't disappoint, but, I mean, it doesn't disappoint in the fact that it is disappointing and not a very good game. There, again, I've touched base on a few times, but there are just certain games, definitely, that just should not be at all bothered with on Game Boy. Like, Game Boy has a magnitude of limitation. Granted, I love the Game Boy. It was a great system. Like, it was a pioneer. It still holds up to this day as being a better handheld system than a lot of the ones that are even produced now. The fact that half of them went through batteries like it was nothing. Color didn't always mean everything, and bigger was not always better. Game Boy was a wonderful, wonderful product. Still to this day, it can be thought highly of. And there's a lot of games that work well for Game Boy, but there are a good genre of games, this one included, that just should never be imported onto a Game Boy cartridge, like, at all. But, like, the fighting games, the aircraft games like this, most of the racing games, and a bunch of other stuff should just never be on Game Boy. It just doesn't work. You know, RPGs work very well, surprisingly, on Game Boy. They're a little disappointing to be in black and white, but they are still great games that are very enjoyable being on Game Boy. You know, you got some of the a lot of the side scrollers. I mean, Mario did great. A lot of things. Zelda is decent enough as a side scroller on this and whatnot. You know, good RPGs, some action RPGs definitely work well enough on Game Boy, but a lot of these games, fighting, flight, all these things, they just don't work well. They didn't even do very well. They couldn't even perform well enough on the actual NES system. To think that they would actually do well on a Game Boy was just, I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't know why, but here we are. I mean, honestly, it is better than I expected, to be completely honest. I expected some absolute atrocious garbage that was really unplayable. This was garbage, not atrocious, and was partially playable. I couldn't really spend much time on it because it just, I mean, again, you got black and white blobs, not really seeing anything going on. You don't actually get to turn. You're flying in more or less a straight line. Things just appear in front of you and you blow them up. I mean, it is what it is, I guess, all in all. But not well done. Shouldn't have been bothered on Game Boy at all. So with that being said, guys, thank you for joining me. Till next time, you guys have a wonderful day.